it? It's Tuesday night, 10 p.m. It's the C3 Podcast.
I guess you've heard of my reputation. I've had my share of fooling around. But everybody needs stimulation.
I had fun, man. Just out, you guys joking. We working at the same time. Putting the work in as a team. Like I said, man, I'm just glad to be with the guys.
My favorite night of the week.
Good Lord, it's a good day to be a Panthers fan. And we the best. You heard them. You heard them say it. We are the best, Joe. And we put it on them. Joe, we are the best. And my name is Tony Dunn, and this is the C3 Podcast. And I'm here with that freaking Puerto Rican. It's Tuesday night, 10 p.m. It's good to see you again, brother.
Man, it is so great to be here. I'm so excited. This week is Christmas week. It is a time of year where we can appreciate all that we're blessed with, that we're able to bless others with, and time that we're thankful for the real reason for this season. Tony, it's good to see you. We are here Tuesday night, the C3 Podcast, here bringing you all the hottest takes on the Carolina Panthers from the fan perspective. And I am ready to get it started, man. What a great showing we had yesterday.
Yeah, man, coming off a win. And tonight's episode, Joey, is punches, flags, celebrations, and spoiled holidays. We've got a fun show tonight. We got a special guest, Louie T of the Louie T Network will be joining us at 10:20 Eastern Standard Time. We'll talk about this Redskins game. We'll talk about how the Panthers fared, what we saw, and what I think was the best Panthers performance of the season. To be honest, I felt we played the game in all facets. We finally had a game that came together on both sides of the ball in many ways. So it was good to see that. Unfortunately, it means very little. And for those people who are clinging to the 0.00 chance that the Panthers can make a playoff run or playoff berth, I say to you, I don't believe in math if that occurs. So everybody, we're going to get into the show, but before we do, be sure to tweet the show using the hashtag C3. We'd love for you to join in the conversation. I'm monitoring the YouTube comments as we speak. I'll do my best. We don't have Mel Mayock here tonight, and he usually helps me out on that, so I'll try to figure all that out and get to you. But make sure you give us a like and a share. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. We'd love for you to tell a friend about the show if you're a Panthers fan, because this is the place where Panther fans come together and chop it up. So last thing, too, on that list, subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, and if you are feeling generous, you can click the little button and the card that pops up on the screen and donate to the show using our Patreon account. You can donate as little as $1 once a month. And give us $12 a year, and that would be a phenomenal Christmas present. You might even make pay for my beer for one show at this rate that we've had this season. Okay, Joe, Panthers go to Washington with really coming off a win, but nothing particularly exciting about that win over the Chargers. It was very blah, as we said last week. But they had an opportunity in the revenge match. I was looking forward to this because there's an opportunity to spoil a team's bid for the playoffs, but more importantly, to get back at an organization that kicked you to the curb. Graham Gano, revenge match, 2016, went in there and kicked him right between the goalposts, his former team, who I didn't even hear about the Josh Norman story. This Graham Gano revenge match was such a big headline and stole the spotlight for me.
Yeah, I think so too. People weren't really thinking of it from that angle, but I really believe that was more of what was at play here. Not only did the Redskins cut Graham Gano, but like a week or just a few weeks after he had been cut, they had brought in another kicker. They cut that kicker because of
Billy Cundiff. Billy
Worse
Cundiff in
performance.
2012.
Yes, he had a worse performance than Graham Gano had, so they ended up cutting him. So this was his shot at a big screw you to the Redskins organization.
You know, that Josh Norman story doesn't hold any water. It pales in comparison to Graham Gano going and playing his former team and kicking them straight between the goalposts. Now, this idea was brought up to me by Clip Brock, Joey, and he said, when I was talking about the revenge match, we were talking about Josh Norman, and he went to Graham Gano. I thought it was such a wonderful concept that I've run with it. And I just want to let you know, Washington, that Graham Gano showed you on Monday night under the primetime lights that he is the 20th best kicker in the NFL. Take that, you should
Easily.
How's it feel now?
That was a really great post you wrote about this interesting angle on the game. Whereas many people were looking at the Josh Norman Carolina Panthers face-off, the angle you took with Gano versus Redskins. I really, really did like that. I think that was fantastic. And kudos to you, Clip Brock, for coming up with that and suggesting it to the professor.
So great. And because, we're so fatigued by the Josh Norman storyline. And you're so fatigued by the same 5 storylines that they run about every team every week. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I thought it was a fresh just fresh and fun. That's what we're trying to do. So, all right, they went there, and Graham Gano did play a big role in the 26-15 upset, you should say, where the Panthers moved to 6-8, and the Redskins fall to 7-6-1. For me, Joey, I got to pull out my notes here, but I'm thinking of this game and amidst some of the chaos and some of the things that we're going to talk about with Cam Newton. To me, Coleman and the Panthers secondary was the big story in this game for me. You limit Jamison Crowder. You keep Deshaun Jackson under wraps and Pierre Garçon. Not only did this secondary play really fantastic in this game, but the defense, I feel, won this game for the Panthers. Really, not one game, but, boy, that was one of the best. They were hitting people and popping people in the mouth.
They were, and their run defense was incredible. Washington has some talented backs. And they really shut them down. The entire Redskins run game was non-existent for 4 quarters, whereas the Panthers could do no wrong with their run game. It was so nice to see Stewart just refusing to go down and running through arm tackles, running people over. It was taking groups of like 4 and 5 defenders to bring him down. When he's 100% healthy and we're blocking well, he is an animal. I mean, he really is a problem for defenses because he just hits you and hits you. Yeah. Over and over.
Jay Stu he mashed this. Sorry, the dang sound. You can't look up any stats without some video playing in the background.
It was like 25 carries for like 132 yards or something like that.
Did you see him mash? He mashed that cornerback. Like he broke out into the open field, and then this poor corner is going to go try to tackle him. They're running down the sideline. And he stopped and almost waited for the dude. And then just forearm mashed him just like he did Rondé Barber back in the day.
What he did was he stuck out his stiff arm and planted it on like the guys right about his jawline and then, near his neck, and then proceeded to just push him out of the way. It was so amazing to see it.
He threw him down by his face.
Exactly. And the guy grabbed his face mask and he just ran through it, like he just shrugged it off.
I thought for sure they were going to call the penalty on him. It was such a violent stiff arm.
It was violent. It was.
I wanted to say that I think that the Redskins, I'm trying to pull up the game on a website. I think they only had something like 38 yards rushing.
Was it that? I thought it was 29.
Oh,
maybe it was 29 at one point in the game. I saw. Maybe they were able to add.
Wait, hold on. No, I'm gonna look it up. I was just like trying to add up the calculations in my head real quick, and let's see. Team stats. Here we go. Where are you? They rushed the ball for a whopping 29 yards. 13 carries for 29 yards. Talk about a defense that really, I guess, is still a little angry from that performance in Seattle.
Yeah, which was my big concern, Tony. I was very concerned because of how bad we looked in that Seattle game. I was worried that we were going to get on national TV again and lay another egg because going into this, you knew the Redskins had to be motivated. They had to, they know that they need to win out for the best chance of them making the playoffs. So they should have come into this game, you think, ready, chomping at the bit to go in and take the win. But that didn't happen. Carolina looked like the team that was making a bid for the playoffs in this game.
We're talking about Jonathan Stewart. I didn't even think about this. We're talking about how violent and how crazy he was. He ran so much. He busted his own face mask off at one point in the game.
Really?
Have you ever seen that? Yeah. The face mask he ran, he came out of hitting people into a pile, and his whole face mask was off his helmet.
Oh, wow. I wish I had seen that. I'm going to go look for that tonight later. That's amazing. He's a punishing runner, and sometimes he punishes his own gear.
Okay, so yeah, all right. So there's questions on YouTube. Kevin Ketchy asks, "What's the favorite play of the game for you?" And I'll ask you, Joey, and then I'll tell you what they're saying.
My favorite play of the game. I think it had to be the stiff arm. Where
that's what, and it's so fresh in our brain too because we've been talking about it.
Yeah, he just matched the guy and just kept on trucking. I think it was that is the epitome of Jonathan Stewart's running style. If you could put it in one play, that would be the play.
Shaked says the Trey Boston hit.
That was a good hit.
At Silla H says, surprised Boston didn't get arrested after that hit. And Kevin Ketchy says for him it was the Coleman interception and TD slamming that dude to the ground. And then Panthers fan also says the silky smooth TD for pass from Cam to take in. That one with the just straight busted coverage. Dante Whitner. He showed us why Dave Gettleman didn't sign him, right? Dude, that's what we didn't know about.
Right. Jeez.
All right. I was gonna ask you about this. Last thing on the defense. Oh, you know what? I think that Trey Boston hit wasn't the one. Did he hit? Was it Vernon Davis? He blew up. I think that's what they're talking about. Just straight
that play? No, I think that was Crowder.
Okay.
On the play where the guy went over the middle and Trey Boston hit. The thing that impressed me was Crowder held on to the ball because he got drilled, man.
Yeah, that is correct. Okay, so here I'm just gonna kind of read off some of my notes that I just kind of write some stuff down so I don't forget it when I'm watching the games and stuff. As I wrote, defensive line played huge, fumble recovery on the one, right? Short play. The short is again showing. I think he's playing tough against the run. He's playing aggressively in the pass rush. So I like to see that. And then my next note, Joey, is this. And obviously by this point, I had like 2 beers in me. Because I said Cam Newton. This is what I wrote. Cam Newton, whatever y'all say, I'm going to say F off. Dude is a monster. Give him time, and he is surgical. That's what my note was. And I'm sitting there thinking of this, and I'm watching this game, Joey. And when he does have a comfortable pocket, not only is he a good quarterback, he like blows it up. I mean, just throws deep balls downfield. He was throwing. He was checking down. He was throwing receivers wide open. Dude had I think it's going to be. I think all the storylines surrounding Cam overshadow when he actually plays a great quarterback type of game. Yes,
you're right. When he does have time, he's fun to watch because he does like to go deep. He does like that vertical passing,
and he does it all well. It's not like he just likes to. He just be bombing it.
Right, he does do it well, and that's some people say they've been critical of that, saying he takes too long, holds on to the ball too long because he wants to make that deep throw, which is there's probably some legitimacy to that, but I think the line did a very good job last night for the most part, considering how many people we have playing out of position and that we're like down to the fourth string center. All that considered, I think they did a pretty solid job, especially when it came to running the ball. They dominated the line of scrimmage last night.
All right, we got Louie T coming in here in just a few minutes. Let's talk about one thing, Joey, the flag. So on top of this just being kind of a cruddy officiated game and some of the things that they were calling and the way that they were kind of describing things at times, Cam Newton goes into a slide. He's hit. He's tackled. Now, some people made a deal that was helmet to helmet. I don't even care. They tackled a quarterback that was sliding.
Right.
To me, that is, and you went after him when he's sliding. He was sliding. Now, don't give me this crap as a late slide. He was sliding. You don't late slide. You slide or you don't slide.
Right.
He gets hit, and then you're like, that's a roughing the passer. Then you see the flag. You see a hesitation in the flag. You're like, oh, crap. We're not going to get a flag for this. And then the flag comes out, and you're like, yes, finally, they're giving Cam what he deserves. And boy, did they give him what he deserved. They gave him a damn taunting flag, Joey.
Right. Which, when I saw the play, initially I thought, oh, great, he's going to get a flag for the late hit. And then I saw him flick the ball. I was like, they're going to throw a flag on Cam. And sure enough, it was a taunting penalty. And it was something he shouldn't have done, but he was frustrated.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is that there was not even a consideration in throwing the flag for a late hit on Cam. Right. Like, I'm okay that Cam got up and acted kind of, in many ways, he's pissed.
Well, yeah, of course. This has been going on all year, and we've brought it to everybody's attention that we can. It's been a big deal in the media, and yet he's still not getting the calls. I think there's definitely something wrong here. And then what really is the icing on the cake is the penalty that they called on Short, quarterback. He was in bounds when he hit him. He was in the play. And then they throw the flag for roughing the passer or unnecessary roughness on him.
All right, here's where I get pissed about it, is that I'm not and terribly, like, when you saw the way that he shoved him out of bounds, it was not deserving of a flag, but it was like, hey, I finally got a quarterback who decided to stay in bounds for one step too long. Here's my chance. And so none of that. But what I get really pissed about is that as they're running down the field, you can feel the ump with his hands on the flag. Like I could feel it through my TV. Like he was running down the field, one arm, just like, if he touches him, like, right, I'm going to throw it. And I'm like, this is like, okay, like I'm fine with that. I'm even fine with the call just because, like, to give the quarterback the benefit of the doubt. What I'm not fine with is that when Cam Newton's running, dudes like completely lose their flags down the pants leg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. So it vanishes. It vanishes.
Yeah.
And
they're like, oh, all of a sudden I got to count how many defensive players are on the field.
Right.
Don't look at Cam. Look away. Look away. All right. So here, this is some fun stuff going on YouTube. Panthers fan says, I saw a tweet saying that Cam could die on the field and he'd be flagged for a delay of game. Totally agree with that. And Shockhead says that Panthers radio at the time finally said finally Cam will get a call, and then and they spent 10 minutes later on talking about how Washington deserved a penalty there and no call for Cam. Instead he's flagged. So I thought that was crazy. Now on top of this, Joey, is that if that was it, I would be all right. I would just be normally frustrated as I am with Cam Newton. But then the game goes on even weirder. At one point, they throw a flag for pass interference, and then the crowd goes crazy and they pick it up. They picked up a flag, Joey. They already called out. They called out the penalty and announced it, and then they went over and said, "You know what? We're picking it up." So just another bumble. All right, we've got Louie T here from the Louie T Network, Redskins aficionado, expert, and really YouTube, one of the most prolific people on YouTube. I feel like my notification thing always says Louie T is live. What's up, my man?
What's going on, man? How you doing today?
We're doing well. We're doing well. A little better than the Redskins, but also we've had the season we've had, so only so well.
Yeah, that's for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, when you have Louie T on the show, you know you have hit big time. Okay? Because this man right here is the hardest working man on YouTube. I promise you will find no one that's more dedicated and working hard than this man right here.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. It's a lot of fun doing what I do, man. I really enjoy it. And it's something that, I tell you what, eventually, I'm hoping that it will take the place of my 9 to 5, man. Hopefully I get to that point where this isn't on the side as a side hustle, but more of an actual career for me, man. And so that's what I'm trending towards.
Well, you're putting in the effort, brother. That's for sure.
Feedback.
I really do. And I appreciate you guys having me on, man. After another beatdown at the hands of the Panthers, man. Glad to be on.
All right. Let me ask you this, Louie T. Where is this bag coming from? Do you hear that?
Yeah, that's probably. I think that's me. Hold on. I got
all right.
Garage action downstairs. Did it stop?
Okay.
It did.
Oh yeah.
It
That wasn't feedback. That was the garage door. Right on. Dang, you were like riding the door.
Yeah.
All right. So the Panthers go to Washington. A lot on the line for the Redskins, Louie. What was the temperature for the Redskins when this game at kickoff? Like, what was the overall feeling about the team and this game coming up?
Well, the mindset going in was, look, this is a really tough Carolina Panthers football team. Don't let the 5-8 record fool you. This team is much better than their record indicates. And if we don't show up, play our best football, and really we knew – I went into the game saying these were the 3 things that we weren't going to be able to stop, and we're going to have to overcome them. And one was Cam Newton. And even though he didn't run a ton in this game, and I was afraid of his legs, he beat us with his arm. He threw for 300 yards, and he carved us up the entire night. So we didn't stop him, and I knew we weren't going to. 2 was the running game. I said, they're going to run the football. Jonathan Stewart is going to get the football tonight because we can't stop the run. What did they do? They ran the football, and Jonathan Stewart ran for over 120 yards in this game. And 3 was Greg Olsen. We don't stop tight ends. We don't have any athleticism on defense. So if you have a tight end that can win, you're going to have success. Jared Cook Jr. ate us up earlier in the year. The Vikings ate us up with their tight end. Jason Witten always eats us up. And he doesn't have to have speed either. You know, it always helps if your tight end has. We just got to know how to get open. Kyle Rudolph ate us up. We don't defend the tight end well. So those are the 3 things that I knew that we were going to get killed on defense. But the thing that we were banking on was that we were going to be able to exploit the Carolina Panthers on the defensive side of the football and score points because no one's been able to stop our offense. The only team that stops our offense is us. And we went into the game supremely confident on offense, but knowing that we were going to have to overcome the faults of our defense. And when we got the news that Luke Kuechly wasn't going to play, which was a surprise to us because we assumed after he didn't play last week but was really close to playing, he was going to play this week. And once he cleared the concussion protocol, we were all but assured he was going to play. And then to hear the bombshell, hey, he's not going to suit up. I'm like, hell yeah, we're definitely going to dominate him now. And we went out and we laid an egg. And I think it's also in our minds now. I think when we show up on Monday night, there's a stigma there. And it's something that as Redskins fans, we obviously know this. I know the team isn't talking about it. They don't want to hear about it. But as a fan, you can't help but think about the last 16 out of 17 times you've been on Monday night at home that you've lost since 1998. That's in the back of your mind as a fan. So you know that we don't play well on Monday night. You saw us week 1 versus the Steelers and how bad we looked then. That was the worst game up until this game, which took the place of that game as the worst performance of the season offensively. We were horrible. We dropped the football. We had a fumble. We had an interception, missed assignments on defense, but that happens every week. It was the offense not performing that was the thing that stood out in this game. And the Panthers I had to give the Panthers credit. They came into this game and they didn't have much to play for. I know mathematically they're still not eliminated, but let's be honest here. They're not making the playoffs.
Yes.
And so
we were eliminated 2 weeks ago.
Exactly.
In Seattle.
We know exactly what this is about. And they look at their record and they say, we got a chance to get to 500. Let's do that. And they came out and they played aggressive. They played harder. They were hungrier. They were more aggressive. They were faster. They hustled better, more than we did. They were the better football team. They looked like a team that was vying for a playoff spot more so than we did. And that was the part that was the most frustrating in this game.
Last night's Panthers team was the one that we expected to see this year.
Yeah.
You know, is that and even look, we did all that last night on offense. Jonathan Stewart was fantastic. We haven't been able to run the ball in weeks. We did that, and without Kelvin Benjamin or Devin Funchess playing any role in that game at all.
Right. And
to me, that's all Cam Newton, like you said.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of that too is our defense. We stink. I can't reiterate that enough. Like teams get healthy off of us. We are what the Saints were last year. Like if you can't run the ball, which we couldn't, and we played the Saints. And the Saints, it was funny. Saints fans and even the media, the press in New Orleans said, "Hey, if you can't run, you're going to be able to run this week. You're going to get healthy running the football against the Saints." And what do? We had one of our best rushing performances last year. We stunk running the ball last year. We're that team this year. If you can't throw it well, Cam Newton had been struggling. They talked about him being under 50% his last 3 or 4 games coming into this game, completion percentage-wise.
It was actually – it would have been his 5th game, which is one short of the record set by Bubby Brister.
Yeah.
Anytime you're going to be mentioned in a sentence with Bubby Brister, it's not a good thing.
It's never a good thing. Okay? I love saying that name, though, Bubby Brister. That's a great NFL name, but
yeah, it is.
That's horrible. The way he was playing coming into this game, you felt like with the shoulder injury and he got up lame after the second possession, Kerrigan hits him. They got to call a timeout because he can't take the next snap. And they come back out and they run a draw and they punt. And you're thinking, we got him. We got him.
Yeah, you're worried. You're worried if you're at that point, Panther fans and fantasy football fans with Cam Newton in are going, man, he might not finish this game.
Yeah. And at that point, I'm thinking, we got him. We're about to get Derek Anderson. This is great. And we didn't blitz him the remainder of the night. And that was the frustrating part, was when we blitzed, we had success. We blitzed 3 times that I can recall. We sacked him twice. We didn't blitz him at all, and he sat back there, and you would think, oh, they got all these different players along the offensive line. They're shuffling guys around that you're going to be able to just rush 4 and win. We don't rush 4 and get pressure. That hasn't been our MO all season long. And so it was really frustrating. It was a frustrating game all the way around. I just felt like this was an organizational loss from the top to the bottom. We were out-coached, outplayed, out-executed, out-hustled. The Panthers wanted it more than we did.
We've had that same feeling this year, man. We honestly have the type of year that the Panthers have had. We've been right there where you were last night. I think a couple of things from last night's game. One thing that really sticks out to me was the number of drops by the Redskins. If they'd have just caught half of the passes that they dropped, and this is a different game we're looking at and talking about. And you can't put that all on Cousins, because Cousins put the ball where it needed to be. The guys just didn't bring it in. I think the Panthers did a great job of controlling the line of scrimmage, on both sides of the ball. They really didn't get many sacks. They did get some pressures. They got a deflection or two. But overall, their coverage was really good. They were sure, they were making 100% sure that D-Jax did not get behind them. That nobody was getting behind them, and I think that was huge. You know, that's something that the Redskins do like to do. And by not being able to run the ball, they were not able to bring up the safeties to allow D-Jax to get behind them. They only ran the ball 13 times. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, we had limited success. I think we only had 18 yards.
29 yards.
Yeah.
29 yards.
29 for the game.
It was bad. And
so they just gave up basically on the run.
It's not necessarily that they essentially did in this game, but that's if Redskins football for this season that's been the story, is we don't have any creativity in the run game. Like, we are the direct opposite of the Carolina Panthers. You guys motion, and Philly Browns coming into the backfield, and you don't know what the hell is going on. Guys are going left and right, and you're motioning. You're starting out with 3 guys on one side, and then next thing you know, guys are shifting to the opposite side and coming in tight to block. They
had linemen moving.
Everything. It's fun. We don't do that. We are so vanilla running the football. It's sickening.
Didn't you guys try? Was it? I know the games, but we watch so much football; they all blend together at times. But didn't they try to run like the jet sweep, Joey, and like Mario Addison or somebody blow him up in the backfield last night?
I think they did.
Was it maybe Shaq? They tried that, and it just got snuffed out immediately. So even when they tried like the least creative thing in the planet, they still had problems.
I think it was either like a shotgun handoff or a screen. Either way, our Addison blew it up. It was a shotgun handoff, and he got in the backfield. And like I said, we're not a run blocking team. We're not physical up front. We're a finesse football team. Let's call it a spade with a spade. We're a finesse football team, and we pass block better than we run block. We throw it better than we run it, and we don't have any creativity. And that's the frustrating part about our run game, is that everyone knows we're running pound draw. It's the same running play. We motion the guy in from our receiver out from the out wide, in tight, almost like the Cardinals do with Larry Fitzgerald. Motion him in tight. And we turn around and we run and we try to get up the A-gap every single time. And if you watch film, you know what's coming. You know when you see it. Maurice Harris is going to motion down in tight, and we're going to snap the ball. Kirk Cousins is going to take 2 steps, turn around, head it to the running back, and he's going to try to find some space, and it's not there. And this defense, they were ready for it. And like I said, they were much more physical. And like Joe said, they beat us up at the point of attack in the game, and they just manhandled us in the run. And like you said, you made a great point. that stopped us from being able to take. The safeties were 27 yards deep. They showed the replay. These guys were 27 yards at the snap. There was no way they were going to allow us to go over the top. They remember what happened last year. We didn't have many good plays last year, but we had one, and it was a D-Jax deep ball, and they were going to allow that to happen this year.
The best deep ball, the best deep threat I've ever seen in my life, outside of maybe Randy Moss, just because Randy Moss is like the greatest receiver and did so much. But Deshaun Jackson, there's nobody that I have ever seen in my life that tracks the deep ball better than he does. I mean, it's just wonderful. I think if you put him on Carolina in the place of Ted Ginn, last year Ted Ginn had 10 touchdowns. I think Deshaun Jackson would have had 20.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
absolutely.
He is amazing. And I said that in our show last week, that what you need to do is keep everything in front of you. And last night, when we had those rookie corners on guys and they got a 10-yard completion or whatever, I said that's a win for our defense because you kept the dude in front of you as a rookie. So I thought that was interesting. You're right. Let me ask you this, Louie, is a bigger storyline for you Josh Norman playing his former team or Graham Gano coming back to his house and playing his old Redskins?
Obviously, it's Josh Norman. I was actually a huge Graham Gano fan when he was in DC. I'll tell you what, man. We having a similar issue with our kicker right now. Like,
yes,
he missed the extra point. I know you saw that last night. He missed the extra point. He's struggling right now, and a lot of people are calling for his head. And he's a really talented kicker, much like Graham Gano was. Big leg, can make all the kicks, but he went through a little funk, and we ran him out of town. And now he's kicking for you guys, and he's doing a good job. He had some struggles early in the season, but he's kicking better of late. And I fear that the same thing's going to happen to D-Hop. But, yeah, the bigger story was Josh Norman. I mean, obviously, him getting a chance and the whole hype and the buildup of him playing against his ex-team. And he had a chance to make a play. I'm glad he dropped it because we would have had a touchback, and I didn't want that at that position. That was a third down. You're going to have to punt. But he had a chance to make a play on the ball. But it was just frustrating because you guys were in such a great position in the game in terms of running the football. And you stayed in third and manageable for the majority of the night. You had a couple of third and longs, but you did such a good job of getting 3 on first down, 4 on second down, and find yourself in 33 and convert, that you took away opportunities to make them have to throw the football down the field. And like you said, there weren't a bunch of targets for KB or Funchess in this game. They didn't need to be. I mean, you stayed in third and manageable the majority of the night when you weren't getting a first down on first down or a first down on second down. So
when you're getting 4 and 5 yards per run, you're not going to need to throw the ball much. There's no need. And I really believe that was the game plan. We did not want to give Norman the opportunity to make an interception, to make a big play, to get some momentum going for the Redskins. And we did a great job of that. We focused on where he would have the least impact on the game. He's not a tackler. He will if he has to, but he's not going to go stick his nose in there and try to.
He's got a hurt wrist too. He's got a hurt wrist, I believe, this season, and so he's limited, and he's limited on a defense of how much you can actually contribute,
right?
Outside of just what you do and taking away part of the field in certain situations.
Right.
So I think he played fine. I think he played well.
Yep.
It's the problem is nobody else around him did. Well, tell me this: if Josh Norman has clearly been, to me, the bright spot on your defense, and outside of Ryan Kerrigan, I think he's got to be the best player. And I even, whenever I say Ryan Kerrigan, one of my good buddies is a Redskins fan. He said, "Hold up, don't give him too much credit. He got like 6 sacks against the rookie left tackle, like a replacement left tackle against the Eagles or something." Yeah. So, Josh Norman, what is wrong? Why is it that your defense is so bad? Like, what is it that makes them where? I mean, it's not just Dante Whitner, even though he stinks.
Yeah. No. Oh, trust me. We got a bunch of issues with our defense. And if not for Josh Norman, we wouldn't even be in the playoff hunt right now. I would assure you of that. you probably could put another 2 losses on our record without Josh Norman this season. That's how big of an impact he's had on this football team. But he can't do it by himself. Like you said, being that he's a defensive back, there's only so much you can do. You know what I mean? Like, that's why pass rushers get paid the amount of money that they do, because they can impact the game on every snap. You know, they can go after the quarterback. They can stop a running back for a tackle for no gain or a tackle for loss. They can impact the game greater. And what you're seeing with this defense is we don't have a lot of playmakers on this defense. You know, Ryan Kerrigan has 11 sacks, and yes, he did get voted into the Pro Bowl, but don't let the 11 sacks fool you. Probably about 5 of those sacks were sacks on cleanups where guys got pressure and he fell into a sack, or he's beating a third-string left tackle or right tackle like he did against the Eagles twice this year. I mean, a lot of his sacks have come against either lesser competition. And again, you still got to beat those guys. You know what I mean?
Right.
Panthers had guys that were backups on the line, and he didn't get a sack last night. So, I mean, it's not like just because you have a backup in front of you, you're automatically supposed to win. But that being said, we don't have impact players on our defense. You know what I mean? In order to be an elite defense or an upper half of the league defense, you need to have at least one impact player on each level. And that's what the Panthers had last year. That's why they were so great. You had 2 in the middle of your defense in terms of Thomas Davis and Luke Kuechly. You had KK on the defensive line dominating, and then you had Josh Norman in the secondary. You got that formula right there, you're going to be elite on defense. That's what you see with the Denver Broncos year in and year out. You get a guy that can get you sacks and pressure on the quarterback. It's going to generate some opportunities for your secondary. We don't have that. We just got Josh Norman, and that's essentially it. We don't have any good linebackers. We got solid linebackers, but they don't make plays. We don't force turnovers. God forbid that we have a safety that can play on this team. Our safety play is horrendous. You saw what a guy –
so bad.
It's really bad. I mean, you saw it last night. And you even saw in your game, and I'm not a Kurt Coleman fan, but he made a great play on that pick. You know what I mean? Like, you have to have guys that make plays. We don't have that on our team. Josh Norman is the only guy that makes plays, and that's part of the reason why our defense is the way it is.
I saw something last night that they mentioned on the game that
I know what you're about to say.
Yeah, about the salary and how it's divided between 80% or something like that is going to the offense, 80% of the salary cap or some crazy number like that, and like 29% or something is going to the defense.
Right. And
that's way skewed. The Panthers are in a similar situation, but where their money is in those primetime players, like you're saying. That's where our money's at. And we still have some guys that are on, their first contract, so that helps.
Right.
But is that right? Is that what you were thinking I was going to say?
Yeah, exactly what I thought you were going to say. And that's a problem. If you're not going to have talented football players that are on their first contract, on their rookie contract, then you're in trouble if that's the way the pie is split up on your football team in terms of the salary cap, because that means you're not divulging enough resources on that side of the football. And you're seeing it play out week in, week out with this Redskins football team. We just don't have enough guys. We just don't. And we've drafted some players over the last couple of years, but for one reason or another, they haven't lived up to the expectations. And to be honest with you, I don't think we've divulged enough resources to that side of football. I mean, last year we spent the second-round pick on Stewart Cravens. He's been good this year. We've been really pleased with what we've gotten out of him.
He's hurt, though, isn't he?
Right. He didn't play last night. He hurt himself last week. He missed the rest of the season.
2 linebackers out this, right?
Yeah. And Will Compton, and you saw that. You guys exploited it. Fozzie Whitaker had a catch out of the backfield where a young linebacker simply doesn't see what's going on, doesn't get through the traffic, and you give up a critical third down to Fozzie Whitaker out of the backfield. And that's where you miss your field general in Will Compton. But even he is slow of foot. You know what I mean? He can read it and diagnose it and still not get there. So we're just lacking in difference makers overall on the defensive side of football. So
are you guys have you given up on Kendall Fuller already?
No, not at all. I think what they realized is that they threw him into the fire a little too soon, but we were having such bad cornerback play that they're like, well, he can't be any worse. And so they put him in there, and he was playing well early on, And then he ran into some juggernauts. You know, you start playing against guys that are really good in this league, and you get exposed a little bit. And he started to lack confidence. He went up against Stephon Diggs, and Stephon Diggs lit him up. And you could see the confidence just starting to wane after that. And they said, you know what? It's time to sit the young fella down, let him hit the reset button. And because of injuries, he had to come in and play last night, late in the ballgame.
Yeah. Joey, you know what happens when you binge watch Ali on Netflix and then endeavor in an off-season training program where you spar with Will Smith? This right here happens.
Oh, yeah.
And right now, Jordan, for people that are listening on the audio podcast, right now, Jordan Reed is punching Kurt Coleman or somebody in the face.
In his face mask.
Like, yeah, and then moving into Ali mode, bouncing on his toes.
Hey, he's ready.
He's squared up. He's got his fists
to fight.
up in the fight position, and he's floating like a butterfly, trying to sting like a bee.
The best thing I heard.
That's what happened.
The best thing I heard was he said, "Look, man, if I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna go down swinging."
God.
He'd been injured. He was injured for a couple of weeks, and then I know he came back and he was playing hurt. I saw him get up real slow one time, and what was this about anyway? Was somebody giving him a little extra business after the whistle or something, and he retaliated?
No, he was giving the extra business. He was giving the extra business, slinging Dan Coleman around like a rag doll.
He was frustrated, and that's not even his temper. He's not even a confrontational guy. He was upset. So number one, like you mentioned, Joe, he had been banged up. He got a 3rd-degree separation of his shoulder. So he's been trying to play through that. He came back last week versus the Eagles. He was ineffective. He didn't play a bunch of snaps. So this was the real test for him if he was going to be able to help us down the stretch. He played a lot more, but they didn't target him. Why? I don't know, but they didn't target him. So I think he was already upset about the lack of targets in his football game. And then there was one play where he was supposed to block, and that was the play we mentioned with Mario Addison on a 3rd down where he gets blown up. Addison gets
he couldn't do anything. Like his shoulder was broken.
Addison gets in, makes the tackle, and so he's just standing around the pile watching, and Trey Boston comes up from behind and looks like a little harmless bump. But when you've got a 3rd-degree separation, it's not a harmless bump, and he goes down in a heap, and he's rolling down on the ground, and he didn't want to quit. He's one of these tough guys that he wants to play for his team because in the past he's been labeled as soft because he's had concussions, and where you see a guy miss a game or two and come back, he'll miss 4 or 5 games with a concussion. So he's trying to overcome that label that he's been dealt. So he wanted to stay out there and battle with his team. And I told him, I said, look, man, give me the permission slip. I'll sign it. You can go on to the locker room, man, because I'm hurting watching you hurt. I don't want you out there, and I know you're hurting. So I told him.
Yeah, it was almost to the point where the Redskins should have taken him out earlier.
Yeah, right. I would have loved to have seen them do that. But if this is the thing, if a player tells you they can go, a lot of times the coach is going to say, all right, if you tell me you can go, and the doctors have already told them he's not going to make it any worse. It's a pain tolerance issue. How much pain can he tolerate? If they tell him he's not going to make it a 4th degree, separation of his shoulder, there's no such thing. 3rd is as high as it gets. So if they tell you,
it's already just hanging.
Right, you're essentially dealing with the pain. And if he says, I can do it, coach, you're going to leave him out there. And he didn't need to be out there. So I told him, look, man, you can go ahead and get ejected. I'm giving you permission. But if you're going to do that, open hand, man. Open hand. Not close fist.
Break,
These are your tools, buddy. You can break your hand like that. I told him. I talked with him after the game. Don't do that, man. You're going to get thrown out. Open hand. Open hand. Not close fist. So that was
Joey, that's a hell of a way to Joey, that's a hell of a way to check yourself out of the game.
Right, that is.
Take me out. I got to punch somebody in the face.
Going out swinging. You really are.
Out swinging. That's what he said.
Do you remember You remember that movie? You remember that movie How High, where the Cuban dude, I'm Cuban B, and he quit work and he said F you, F you, F you, and then threw that hamburger at that dude. That was the Jordan Reed version of that. I quit. I'm out.
I'm out of here, man. Yeah.
All right. Louie, what did you think about the officiating in this game?
I didn't think it was that bad. They did miss the Cam Newton shot, and to make matters worse, to add insult to injury, you throw a flag on him for throwing the ball at him. That was that was egregious. But I was upset at the calls. But I mean, there were so many bang bang calls on those catches that we had to challenge. They were tough to see with the naked eye. You know what I mean? So I wasn't upset. I thought the officiating was fine. I didn't have a problem with it. They weren't overly flag happy. I was really upset about the Garcon incomplete pass that we didn't challenge because I thought that was a catch as well. But I didn't think the officiating was that bad.
What about the hit?
How bad? How obvious was that, Cam?
The hit that short put on the sideline on Cousins. He was still in the field of play.
He was. It just looked bad. That's all it was. It looked bad.
It did look bad, but it wasn't an illegal contact kind of thing. He was in the field of play.
Yeah. See, it's easy to see
That's
that.
what makes me mad. That's what makes me mad because they don't call it when Cam gets hit, but then the guys clearly are in the field of play and they call that.
But see,
that's what pisses me off.
It's a bang bang thing. I get upset with the Cam thing too because his is egregious though. You know what I mean? Like this guy's taking shots to the head and it's clear. Like in that Denver game, you can't tell me that you didn't see those. Come on, guys. I know he was outside the pocket, but come on, you can't. The one against Arizona, are you kidding me? Like seriously? Had that been Tom Brady, he would have got 7 flags on that play.
They'd have kicked him out of the game.
In the back, that's supposed to be watching the receivers would have thrown a flag on that one. Like.
Yeah, you're right.
You remember that time that ref threw that flag and hit the dude in the helmet, like in the eyeball? Yeah. That's how they would have stoned. They would have stoned the guy if they tried to tackle Tom Brady like that. Yeah, like they would have stoned him like he was a prostitute in the biblical times.
Man, yes, they would have lit him up. I mean, like a firecracker in July, man. I mean.
He got suspended. He would have been fined. The works.
A mess. And with Cam, it's never the case, and that's frustrating. That it really is. I agree.
It is.
Louie, is there anyone on the Redskins that made the Pro Bowl that shouldn't have?
The only guy that I would say that got there, but again, his numbers warrant him being there is Ryan Kerrigan. But if you're a Redskins fan, you understand that those 11 sacks, like they remind us of Brian Arako's 10.5 sacks that he would get when he was in Washington. Like,
yes, I remember.
You get them, but you're like, you don't get them when you need to get them. But Kerrigan's had some big moments for us this year too, like the sack, forced fumble versus Philly to win the game. So I don't have a problem. Sheriff has been awesome at guard. Trent Williams is one of the best tackles in the league. And who's the other person that's there?
Norman.
Is it Norman?
I don't know.
I'm sure. I don't know. The reason I asked is Mike Tolbert made it for the Panthers.
Yeah,
and he has had an awful season.
Yeah. No one knows any more fullbacks in the league. That's the problem.
Right.
There's no fullback.
And he's a fullback in the loosest sense of the word.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
it's
sort of like how
he's a fat running back.
Marcel Reese used to make the Pro Bowl for the Raiders at fullback every year, and he's not a fullback at all. Okay, he was a wide receiver in college. Just so you know, like this guy doesn't want to block. He doesn't like contact, and he used to make the Pro Bowl every year. It's the same thing. There aren't any fullbacks in the league.
Sounds like Mike Tolbert.
Yeah, exactly.
I found myself laughing when Mike Tolbert caught that ball for a first down. So it was a helpful play, but I'm laughing at him as he awkwardly catches the ball, like rumbles and tumbles, and then gets blown the hell up by some defensive player. I mean, it's just hilarious. Like he looks like he can't block. He is so big now. It's
like he's
upsetting me. All right, look.
Oh, clearly.
Yeah, and he was overweight when he was in shape.
Right. Louie, I want
right,
to ask you. I want to ask you one last question, and then we're going to stop giving you the third degree. I promise.
Oh, you're fine.
I wanted to ask about the RG3. When you guys traded the farm, are you done with all that? Have all the draft picks been sent where they were going to go? And you guys you don't owe anyone anything else? It's all over and done with?
Yeah, we washed our hands clean of that 2 seasons ago. So it was 2012, 2013, and then 14. And so we finally got out of that business. We finally got to come out of timeout in 2015.
Right.
And have a first round pick.
You think they realized that they made a mistake? I mean, that they, their expectations were far too great. And they thought that they were going to, make out by betting the farm, putting all your eggs in one basket, as they say. Is the same GM there now that did that?
No. So who the guys that did that? Well, Mike Shanahan was there. He wasn't really the decision maker. Our president, right, Bruce Allen, was the one that pulled the trigger on that deal. But really, the thought process was, and you've seen other teams make trades, not to the extent that we did, but you saw the Rams trade up for Goff. You saw the Eagles trade up for Wentz. So it's the same, thought process that you got to have a guy. If you don't have a guy, you don't have a chance in this league. I say it all the time. So that was the risk there. The Redskins, the year before, just think of it like this. Rex Grossman and John Beck had a quarterback competition to see who was going to be the Redskins quarterback the year before. It was
so they were pretty desperate.
Yeah, we were bad off. So they understood that. They made the move. Was it a lot to give up? Sure it was, but they thought they were getting a guy that was going to be in Washington for years to come.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure in hindsight they wish they never had done it, but at the time it seemed like the right thing to do, and it paid off immediately. And if he was a much better caretaker of the situation, and if people in the front office had handled it better, and him and his people had handled it better, maybe he would have still been in Washington right now playing good football. But it didn't happen.
Maybe, yeah, right. Okay, I didn't know how. I didn't know if there were still like late round picks that were being divvied out.
Yeah, that's why everybody was giving Jeff Fisher such a hard time, because they essentially squandered all of those picks, don't have anything to show for it, and now he's
exactly. Right, now he's looking for a job.
Right, exactly.
All right, Louie, we still got to do the ice up picks. You're more than welcome to hang out, but if you need to run, you can let everybody know where they can find your work on YouTube and all of that. And we're just going to get the ice up picks left to go, and a couple other funny business, and that's it.
Yeah, I'll hang tight, man, and I can do that at the end. Go ahead and ice up, man.
Nice. Fantastic. All right, Joey, I do want to put out a couple of things I saw on Twitter last night that came to mind. Paul Lucas, he said, why is the Panthers coach wearing sunglasses during a night game? And let me see. Somebody tweeted back, and it was somebody we knew. Oh, it was Bobby Rosinski. He said, sun never sets on a badass. I think they kind of look like those glasses that change
transition lenses. Yeah, transition lenses.
Enough light in there that they would never be.
No, it's like daylight out on the field, man. Those lights that they have in the stadium are so powerful. You're down there on the field, and it's like the sun's out.
Yeah, I was at a summertime game, like a August or September game, and they had the lights on, and we were sitting in the upper deck, and it was like 90 degrees outside, and you could feel the heat coming off the lights.
Coming from the lights, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't. Like, yeah. And they were why they had them on in the daytime. Somebody needs to somebody with Greenpeace needs to protest that. All right, I saw this guy, some random dude, Kyle Smith. His Twitter handle is @KJBS_828. He said this on Twitter: Kawan Short is really the worst player on the defensive line. was like, what in the world? Come on, Twitter. This is what happens when you give a microphone to everybody. And last little news and notes for us, Joe. We hit 5,000 followers on Twitter last night.
All right.
Congratulations.
That's a big step. Big step.
I still talk with our two first followers still regularly. One is Willie P, Chocolate Wonderland, our second follower. He's a Panther Nasty on YouTube, and Steve Daner. So I think that's pretty cool. 5,000 was a big one.
That's awesome.
All right. I was gonna say this. Okay, let's just get on out of here and do these ice up picks.
All right, let's do it.
Joey, those were the here. I'll do it one more time because those were the quietest ice cubes ever.
There we go.
There we go. All right, it's time. It's this time of the show where we pick somebody in the world where we ice up. Everybody is fair game. This is our homage to Steve Smith, to Smitty, and where we pick somebody out in this world and we tell them they need to get it together and ice up. Joey, I know you're ready to go on this. Who you got?
Well, my ice up pick, despite what Louie T's opinions are on the game last night, my ice up pick goes to the officiating crew because of the missed call on Cam Newton, because of the call that they put on Kawan Short for hitting Cousins while he was still in bounds, and for changing the pass interference call because they thought the ball was uncatchable. Yes, if the guy's interfered with, it will be uncatchable. Had he not been interfered with, he could have made a play on the ball. So
it was a weak call already. It was a weak call already, but to pick it all up was ridiculous.
Right. I mean, if you're not going to call PI, then call holding, because there was something going on there that prevented him from being allowed to get to the ball. So to the crew from last night's Monday night game, I give you guys an F for your grade on the game, and I suggest you ice up. So that next game, you
ice up, son. Ice up. Louie, do you have an ice up pick?
Yeah, I got one, man. I've been defending them all season long, swatting away Redskins fans like a pesky fly in my ear, but I finally give up. Our defensive coordinator, Joe Barry, has been awful all season long. This is a situation where I know we don't have the most talent, and I understand that the cupboard is really bare, but you got to play the hand that you're dealt. And he doesn't do a good job. I look all around the league. As you know, I watch all the games, and I'm watching these other teams with lesser talent than we have go out and compete much harder and better than we do. They're more aggressive. They get a bunch of hats to the football. They're competing. They look like defenses that are giving maximum effort, and that's not always the case with us. And I think it starts with the head coach or the defensive coordinator. And so for me, it's Joe B, man. I give him an I, not for incomplete, not because Cam Newton was essentially out there with a half an arm, but because he needs to ice up, son.
Nice. Very nice. Ice up, right, Coach Mary.
My ice up pick, you guys are going to have to bear with it. It's kind of crude and lewd, but
there we go.
If I don't say it,
if you're under 18, please stop listening.
Don't get on the internet. Don't. Anyway, yesterday or this Sunday, supposedly some San Diego Charger on-field personnel / security guard, one of those people that stands around in the orange jackets, you know what I'm saying, that directs, but on the field, 6 foot away from the cheerleaders, was caught on film masturbating. He was playing pocket pool. And Joey, you worked at Michelangelo's, and you've heard Jeff say the pocket pool joke a billion times in your life. Well, I would have to say I've seen somebody play pocket pool, and I want to ice up myself a little bit for watching a dude jerk off on the field. and then I gotta say, I have watched it more than once.
Hey, you gotta ice up for that, Tony. You gotta.
Yeah, I showed my wife, you know what I'm saying, today. I was like, look at this crazy thing. Hey, boy, it is, you gotta watch it, first of all. A, so I won't be alone. B, the ice up pick. The ice up pick is going to this guy who played pocket pool on the field, not because he was a compulsive masturbator, like the guy in Sons of Anarchy where they had to cut his fingers off because he couldn't stop, right? Is that obviously I've heard about these things, compulsive masturbators. Well, now I've seen one.
That is insane.
My thing that I'm really upset about, Joey, is I'm slightly paranoid that people are jerking off all around me now. If you do this on a field in front of 85,000 people, how many times has this happened in class, in the gas station, and we've been just walking and doing our grocery shopping, and some guy's playing pocket pool over there by the Charmin. We didn't even notice it.
Hey,
so now I'm paranoid.
Hey,
I'm paranoid.
Did you hear about Jamal Anderson jerking off at the
No.
The ex-Falcons running back, the Dirty Bird?
Yeah.
He got caught jerking off in front of a gas station attendant.
See? Now I'm scared. It's everywhere, guys. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So to you guys, to public masturbators, do it in private, folks. What cannot be, my eyes cannot unsee what they saw. So to you guys, I say, ice up. Put an ice pack in your pants. Please.
Right. Ice it up, folks. Ice it up.
Yeah, you guys are.
All right. This is the C3 podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Louie T, thanks so much for joining us. Who do you guys got coming up this week?
We have the Chicago Bears in Chicago.
In Chicago.
Barkley.
Should be
Watch out for Barkley.
Very cold. We've got the Falcons. I think we can get some redemption here.
Yeah, that's going to be a
Christmas Eve.
That's going to be
at home
game. You guys are going to have a lot to say about who makes the playoffs in the NFC.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, we can ruin everybody's day. In fact,
we may not be knowing, but we're going to be spoilers.
We're spoilers. Yep. All right, Louie, tell them where they can find your work at.
Oh, man. First and foremost, let me thank you guys for having me on the program. I love this show, and I really appreciate you guys allowing me to bless the C3 podcast. You can find me on YouTube at Louie T Network on YouTube. We're changing the game over there. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Louie T Network is where you can find me. See the banner behind me. That's the logo, so you know when you see it. Also, I'm on Twitter at In the Lab Room is the Twitter handle. So go ahead and follow me on Twitter. I'm looking to start doing some creative things. And now that Twitter has gobbled up Periscope, you can also go live there now. So I'll be doing some exclusive content on Twitter as well. So go ahead and follow me on Twitter at In the Lab Room. And also, I'm on Facebook. In the Lab Room is the Facebook page. So go ahead and follow me on Twitter, like the Facebook page. And most importantly, make sure you subscribe to the Louie T Network on YouTube.
Yeah, you can blow Periscope up, Louie T. The way you do things, you might as well just put that up as alongside with all the YouTube stuff you do and just do it at the same time.
Yeah. It's coming.
Periscope is legit, and that's what we need to be doing. But the thing with Periscope is, how do you do something with a group? Mm-hmm. I don't think that's possible yet, or there is, but you have to be like a super computer guru. But everybody go check out Louie T In the Lab Room, the Louie T Network. And one thing is amazing is that actually it's not amazing. I watch it all the time, not for things just with the Redskins, but I put out a story about the Redskins defense and how the Panthers were set to get on track. And I got it from the Louie T Network when I'm watching. And one night you said, hey, these guys can't get off the field on third down. And I went and looked it up. 50% of the time people convert on third down, and that was the inspiration right there for that story. So thank you, Louie T, for joining this show. Joey, tell them how they can get after you, brother.
You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Riolano. Louie, it's been a pleasure, man. It really has been. You inspire us. You really do. We look at the work you've done and how much effort you put into what you're doing, and we do find it inspirational. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey, man, I really appreciate you guys having me on, man. I love talking to you guys. Joey, Tony, you guys, you're awesome. I appreciate you, man. Always.
Word up. This is the C3 podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop it up, the latest Panther news and opinions from the fan perspective. I'm Tony Dunn, the professor. You can follow me on Twitter at @cat_chronicles. And we'll see you next week, Tuesday. Be there. We're spoiling somebody else's week.